Thank you. We're going to first ask you to switch off your cell phones if they're still on. I'd like to start by recognizing our distinguished guests here with us today to celebrate. Senator, the Honorable Simon Steele from the Ministry with responsibility for climate resilience and the environment and Chairman of Government Monitoring Committee. Her Excellency Wendy Freeman, British Resident Commissioner, British High Commission in St. George's. Dr. Richard Levin, Keynote Speaker. Dr. Charles Modica, our Chancellor. Dr. Richard Olds, our President. Dr. Glenn Jacobs, our Provost. Mr. Brendan Legrenade, who is the Vice Provost for Institutional Advancement. Dr. Anthony Andal, the Assistant Provost and Chair of Department of Business and Management Studies at the School of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Rao, our Dean of Students. Dean Margaret Lambert, our Dean and Vice President of Enrollment Strategies. Dr. Cal McPherson, Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. Dr. Marios Lucas, who is our Dean of Basic Sciences. Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, Dean of our Clinical Studies. Dr. Neil Olson, Dean of Veterinary Medicine. Mr. Bob Ryan, Dean of Admissions. Thank you for admitting me, by the way. And faculty, staff, especially invited guests, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Sholene Espinoza. They call me Sho. I'm an OBGYN in Los Angeles, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2015. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If any of you are wondering, no, I don't suffer from premature aging, but I was a late bloomer, shall we say. I'm not sure if this was a midlife crisis or psychotic break. Sometimes I feel a little bit more like the latter, but nonetheless, here I am. And you know, being an OBGYN, I have to tell you, I feel a little bit like I'm in labor and delivery in a delivery room today, because it is the most exciting moment to be able to share with you all and with your families. I mean, think about where you've come this far, right? And then if the statistics are right, 60% of you weren't even planned, and look at you, you're going to be a doctor, right? But I want you to take this day, as hard as it is, because you're starting medical school, there's all that butterflies in your stomach. Butterflies are good, right? The most important things I've done in my life all cause me to have butterflies, and those are okay. But try not to let those butterflies control you today and for this weekend, because this is a moment for celebration for you and for your families. Take that victory lap because you deserve it, and enjoy this weekend. No matter what exams you have coming up is what I understand, right? So, sitting here, you might be asking yourself, am I good enough? Well, if you figure out how to answer that question, let me know, because I'm still asking myself that same question every day, right? But I tell you, what I try to do is I just try to be better every day. I've failed, I've felt like I've had bad outcomes, I could have done better, should have done better, would have done better. Medicine is a continual struggle, but it's in that struggle that we learn about humility, we learn about being an underdog, right? I mean, you all have the potential and will, I guarantee, graduate, or you wouldn't be here, okay? As long as you just keep at it. And the fact that this admissions commission has decided that you have the capacity means that you definitely can do this and go on to provide tremendous care for our patients. You just have to take it one day at a time, better every day. It starts here in Grenada, basic sciences. For me, I mean, I got to tell you, it was like a meditative retreat. I mean, I know that sounds a little strange, but where else in your life will you ever be able to focus on one thing in one of the most beautiful places on the planet, with a welcoming faculty, community, country, to basically just support you in what your life's dream has always been? And so I encourage you to enjoy that, but you can't be siloed. It's not a submarine in and of yourself sitting in your cubicle looking at lectures. Go to class, go to DES, Department of Educational Services for the parents in the room. My study buddies, which granted we were a bit all on the spectrum on the Friday night biochemistry study group, but we did well. I went to Cedars-Sinai. One of my friends matched in a categorical surgical specialty. Another one, University of Wisconsin, was neurology, UCLA. So anything is possible. But no matter where you end up, the most important thing is that you're here and that you're going to dedicate your life to the betterment of others. And that's what we're about today. That's what the white coat is. Because the 2 years in Grenada, as special as they are, as important as they are, it's in the next 2 years that you become the doctor ultimately that your patients deserve. That you stop being a champion for yourself and you become a champion for your patients. And that is what really the Gold Foundation, and who created this ceremony in 1993, was all about when they had their first white coat ceremony at Columbia University in New York. And shortly after that, in 96, St. George's was one of the first places to adopt the white coat ceremony as well. The Gold Foundation went on in 2003 to develop actually an honor society, which I encourage you all to learn about, to benefit from, to experience the content, the conferences, because it's not just about humanism for your patients and the expression of empathy, but it's also humanism for your colleagues and for yourself, which I've benefited myself from this society. Dr. Gold was a brilliant pediatric neurologist who passed away at the age of 92, still doing clinical medicine, died in his boots, so to speak. But he is an advocate for humanism in healthcare. SGU's chapter of the Gold Honor Society is here in the bioethics department, and I don't know if you know Dr. Cheryl Cox McPherson, but she is running this whole organization that we're privileged to be part of today, and she's also the person who is part of that Gold Humanism in Honor Society. Very well suited for the Department of Bioethics. So again, I encourage you to enjoy that. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our Provost, Dr. Glenn Jacobs from St. George's University.
Thank you. I stand on the protocol already established. Good afternoon. That's nice. I would like to welcome all of you to St. George's University and this beautiful island of Grenada. A special word of welcome to all the parents, family, and friends present here today. This is a very special day for all of you. And I would like to acknowledge you for what you have done for your student. I am sure you are very proud of them and they of you. Students, I am very happy to welcome you in person. I will not be addressing you that often. The next time I probably speak to you as a group will be during graduation. You will be amazed how quickly that goes. But I would like to leave you with this thought today. So, you have come here with great intellect. You have and will gain lots of knowledge while being at SGU. But I trust that during your time here, you will also develop your wisdom. John Iso, best-selling author, explains it so well in his book, The 5 Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die. Wisdom is different and fundamentally more important than knowledge. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts, whereas wisdom is the ability to discern what matters and what does not matter. Unless we can discover what really matters, we cannot find the true meaning to life. I will encourage you to take your time to explore Grenada and to get to know this great community. So today, we are very fortunate to have our Chancellor as well as our President present here this afternoon. It is not that often that we have both of them in Grenada at the same time. So I wish you well, I wish you all of the best, and it's now my pleasure to introduce to you the President of St. George's University, Dr. Glenn Richard Olds.
Thank you, Glenn. Well, welcome, class of 2024. Now, in a few minutes, you're going to walk across the stage and put on that white coat, the symbol of our medical profession and a symbol of the health professions in general. But I'm afraid I have a little bad news for you. When you put on that coat, you won't be one bit smarter than you are today. Because the coat is symbolic of the responsibility that you take on when you assume the mantle of a medical student, let alone a physician. Now, when you think about it, our society gives medical students and healthcare professionals in general a tremendous ability to do things in the best interest of their patients. As a professional, you will ask intimate questions of your patients. They will tell you the most closely held secrets, often not even telling other loved ones. You will examine their bodies. You will share with them the pain and agony of various ailments. And when you take on that white coat, no matter what your knowledge base is, you take on the responsibility to deal with your patients in a professional and thoughtful way. Now, I'm obviously a physician, and I actually am a tropical disease specialist, and I've spent most of my time actually working in developing countries over the years. And one thing that I noticed over all those years is that many developing countries have among their country's national heroes physicians. And I'll use the Philippines as an example, a country I spent 34 years working in. The national hero of the Philippines is Dr. Jose Rizal. He was a physician. Now, Dr. Jose Rizal is not the national hero of the Philippines because he was a great doctor. Quite frankly, I have no idea whether Dr. Rizal was a good doctor or not. Dr. Rizal is the national hero of the Philippines because he stood up for the atrocities committed to his country by the 400-year occupation of his country by Spain. And for doing that, he was put in front of a firing squad and shot. Now, I'm not expecting all of you in the audience to put your lives in that way in danger, but it does point out that as a physician, you have more responsibility than just taking good care of each and every patient. Your responsibility is to also care for the communities that they come from, their families, and yes, our world. And so, 4 years from now, I will probably greet you again as you graduate in New York City in a wonderful ceremony. And I know that each and every one of you will be a very well-trained physician. But I hope when you cross the stage, I can count that at least a few of you will be heroes. Thank you and God bless. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Chancellor and the founder of this great university, Dr. Charles Modica.
Got to lower this for obvious reasons. I'm height challenged. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here. I was mentioning in the earlier ceremony that I hadn't been to a white coat in about 3 years, and I kind of apologize in many ways to myself as well as to the students. But once we had Dr. Olds, our new president, come in, who was the founding dean of the newest medical school in California at the time. There had been no new medical schools, I think, in 40 years in California, when he founded the Riverside campus of the State University Medical School in California. When he came aboard, there was kind of no need for the old founder anymore, and I kind of, the chancellor was the chancellor, but with more limited duties, and but my wife and friends and Dr. Olds prevailed upon me to come back a little bit, but not take up too much time. I get that. And it means a lot to me personally, because I'm at the other end of your education, and the last class that graduated this past June, I got to say to them, remember I told you everything was going to be working out okay, and it was a little bit of a pep rally at their white coat. That was the last time I'm going to get to do that for 3 years, so you'll be the next class I can say that to. But that's okay, because since you're in 2 sections, I can honestly say I just did a white coat 2 hours ago, and I did. It's a great honor to be here. I am a founder, and unlike Dr. Olds, who earned his job as the dean of the newest medical school in California and our president, I got my job because I am the founder, so, that works pretty well, doesn't it? Yeah. As we came in for this ceremony, I recognized 2 graduates of ours, and they're here, and I've got to embarrass them a little bit to ask them to stand. Dr. Peter Rienzo and Dr. Frank Rienzo, I think they're right over there. Yeah. They both graduated in the 80s. Probably shook their hand, gave them a hug at graduation many years ago. And they are here today because one has a daughter and one has a son who's getting white coated. So it means a lot to me. This stuff goes. The best part of my job is they thanked me. They said, it's so good to see you again. We want to thank you for our lives and everything, medicine. And just as I said a few minutes ago, I want to thank you because you guys stuck it out. You worked hard in the early classes. And trust me, the AMA and a lot of people weren't real happy with us. They didn't like the idea of some guy who went to medical school in Spain for a year, dropped out, and I passed everything. But medicine wasn't for me. But studying in Spanish is not a lot of fun, I got to tell you. Trust me. So I dropped out, and my parents are Italian, second-generation Italian, lived in Brooklyn, met at high school there at Abraham Lincoln High School, right across from Coney Island Hospital, one of our hospitals. And so when I was in high school, they have different vocation days. I guess they still do it in your generation, where you meet people, and one week was an airline pilot, next week was a doctor. And I came home one day, I'll never forget, I was a junior in high school. I didn't know what I wanted to be, and the physicians had been there, and I came home and told my mom I want to be a doctor, and she cried. I mean, it was like, oh my God. Now, this was just a passing thought at the time, but not in her mind. So I went to college pre-med, didn't get into a U.S. school. I went to Spain like thousands of others did. Did well. I got aprobado on every course. Wish I hadn't, because when I came home that first summer and told my mom the news that I'm not going back, she had seen my report that had come in, and she cried. It's an Italian mom. It wasn't too much, so only 2 weeks, and then she got over it. Then did a little praying. My grandfather came out to Long Island, where I grew up, and said he'll accept me not going back to med school, and it's not so bad that I'm going to be a lawyer. I hadn't thought about being a lawyer at that time, I got to tell you. This is a true story. This is when things were a little different in this world, and you kind of wanted to please your parents to the nth degree. And the reason I bring that story up is I went to law school. This is relevant to you. I went to law school, and after going to a medical school in Spain, out of 300 students in law, and I wasn't pre-law, by the way, I was number 1 in my class, and that's because it was so much easier studying law than it was studying medicine. And that's a tribute to what you're going to go through here. You're going to work really hard. Really hard. But from the early graduates, from a charter class graduate, who I hope is here, Dr. Ricciardi, stand. He's a dean of clinical studies, U.S. From those people staying here, working hard, believing in themselves, you're here. And not much is the same. When they were here, when you look at all the buildings and the campus and the size and everything, you might say, well, I wonder which ones were here when Dr. Ricciardi was here in 1977, January of 77, 43 years ago. Not one building. We were talking about that on the way here in the car. There was a brick wall at the entrance, and we left half of the wall up and put a plaque on it. That's the only remaining thing from that class. It wasn't very impressive in terms of physical plan. So there was nothing similar from his class 43 years ago and yours in terms of physical plant. The faculty is a little bit larger now, hundreds if not thousands in the clinical setting. Our faculty was a total of 6. And the last faculty member hired that just got down here, his classes was beginning, is the only remaining faculty member still with us in this world. And he's your Dean of Students, Dr. Vishnu Rao. So very little is the same, but there's one thing that is the same. It's the class, the spirit of this class, the resolve, the perseverance, the confidence. And you don't have to worry about what Danny did when I would come down and things were like not working so well all the time and electricity was off half the time. I wish it was now, by the way. I hate to tell you that. The reason is, I think I told our speaker last night, our electric bill here now is $34,000 US a day. A day. So things are different now, but you are the same. What you bring into this school, your hope, your aspirations, and everything else, you know you can succeed. I know that. I knew it when Danny was here, but no one could prove it at that point. But they hung in there. We used to talk about a light at the end of the tunnel when I would come here and things were really not going well. I said, look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I meant it from my heart. And it worked out because they stayed here, they worked hard. The first time they took the national boards, the second highest pass rate in the world of any non-U.S. school. That was his class. Later classes came in the 80s, and I got to tell you, they all did it, and that's the reason you're here. So when anybody ever comes up to me and thanks me for anything, I go, I thank you, the people that were here at the beginning. And I'm going to thank you at graduation because you're going to achieve the same thing. It'll be a little easier for you, for sure, but you still have to do all the work. You still have to believe in yourselves. And the good thing about it all is you're in a country that loves you. I was with the Prime Minister this morning. He wanted to be here, and he sent 2 of his best ministers here instead that are going to come up here in a few seconds. And we talked about how proud he is here of this class 43 years later and what it's done with this nation, and how proud he is to have so many Grenadian scholarship students in the class. We had a bunch go through this morning. We're hoping a few are left in the afternoon. And with that, I want to just end my remarks, which is supposed to be short, but I can't do that, you know. You're really fortunate to be here. And the main thing that's going to be going for you is the fact that you have people from different parts of this earth, different religions, right? Different races, different countries of origin. And you're going to come here and work together, be congenial with each other. And it's going to work out for all of you. And somehow, when you are in this process, you'll be able to say, what the hell is wrong with the rest of the world where people are always fighting? You'll find that things kind of work out here, and your best friend may be from a country that you didn't know much about, different religion. Embrace that. That's the icing on the cake of this place. And the other part of the icing is the fact that we're in a country that cares about you, that has a safe environment. That's very important to parents, I know, and it should be important to you. And with that, I'd like to introduce and bring up really quickly the 2 ministers of government who I told I was going to do this whether they wanted it or not, since the PM day. Very, very quickly, just to say hello and bring the scholarship students. Fight over.
All right. Well, just a few words on behalf of the government of Grenada. It's always a proud moment to attend the White Coat ceremony and other ceremonies associated with this university. I mean, what we're seeing here today is a symbol of the important relationship between the university, the government of Grenada, and the people of Grenada, not only from an economic perspective, but in terms of developing our own healthcare system. The students, the Grenadian students who are also passing through this wonderful educational facility, and the opportunity that they're given to contribute back to Grenada in the care of our people. So again, a very proud moment for us. And if we could ask the Grenadian students.
Scholarship students? Oh, the Minister of Education. Oh, man. I'm in big trouble. There's a third minister here. It's going to come up real fast. I'm sorry. The Minister of Education. Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the Ministry of Health and the Government of Grenada, I want to welcome you here, but I also want to ask you who are here for your white coat ceremony, by a show of hands, how many of you here are here to begin your journey to change the world or to change the face of medicine? Come on. Right. In that case, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Because this place, this institution, starting with a shoebox, changed the world and the face of medicine and continues to. So let me say, while I welcome you, that we are already proud of you. You are the class of 2024, which means that this legacy continues and grows from strength to strength. And the 2,400 of you, approximately, or however many in this class, it means that we are very likely that many of you are going to change the face of medicine. You are seeing the world in a totally different way. We have a threat today. This is why I'm in and out and will be in and out on this speech. But just simply to say, if you plan to change the world, start by changing the world from this small island in Grenada. Start by making a positive difference. Start by using Charles Mordecai as your mentor. He's changed the world from Grenada outwards. You can do the same while you are here. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Good work.
Thank you, Dr. Modica. Thank you, ministers. Dr. Modica is what we call in the Air Force a force multiplier, 20,000 people that he's trained. And like I was saying, I wish sometimes he could see the impact that he's had, especially when we look at how many lives have been transformed. And one thing I wanted to say, I was thinking about him as he was standing up here, and, Dr. Modica is like a rock star when he comes to Grenada. Every student wants to meet him and touch him, and it's like they think he flies in a G5 or something like that. He's in coach in American Airlines, for anyone who wants to know. But anyway, like the rest of us. But what's unique is that he embodies kind of who we are, right? Gritty, just tenacious, spirit of adventure, intellectual curiosity that he brings every day. And he's one of those people that I encourage each one of you, if you want to succeed, you want to get a great residency, you want to get through med school, surround yourself with people like Dr. Modica that just make you feel good, like you can do anything, right? I mean, sometimes I think in medicine we call it mania, but but in any case, I mean, he is a beautiful example of what this school is, as well as the phenomenal faculty and staff that he's hired here. I want to introduce you to my new best friend, Dr. Richard Levin. He's our keynote speaker. He's also the president and CEO of Arnold Gold Foundation. He's emeritus professor of medicine at the Division of Cardiology at McGill University in Montreal and the Leon Charney Division of Cardiology at New York Hospital and New York University. In 1970, he earned a Bachelor of Science in Biology with honors from Yale University and graduated from NYU School of Medicine in 1974. He was, of course, the chief resident in internal medicine at one of my favorite places, Bellevue Hospital, and completed a cardiology fellowship at NYU and then a postdoctoral fellowship in vascular biology at Cornell University Medical College. Dr. Levin's scientific interests include endothelial cell biology, the prevention of atherothrombotic events, and the neurobiology of empathy. The reformation of academic health centers for the support of personalized medicine and patient-centered care, and the role of new information technologies in medical education in practice. But what I consider all of that incredibly impressive in his study of my favorite cell, the endothelial cells, I think the most impressive is that he's actually here with his wife Jane celebrating their 50th anniversary. So congratulations and welcome, Dr. Levin. Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I am deeply honored to be asked to join you this afternoon to not give the keynote address because, in fact, my colleagues who preceded me have given you the secrets of success and told you what medicine is about. I'd like to place some of their remarks into context. I want to talk about your white coat ceremony and the celebration that this is. I suspect that many of you imagine that this ritual began with Hippocrates on the island of Kos in the Aegean, not in the Caribbean, and about 2,500 years ago, which was the beginning of medicine in the West. It wasn't. As you heard, it was invented by the Gold Foundation when it was 5 years old in 1993. It was a modern invention to correct a modern problem. And Arnold Gold, who founded this thing, noticed that in the late 70s and early 80s, we were teaching students and residents to move further and further away from the patients, literally and figuratively. Rounds moved from the bedside to the hallway to the screen. We were spending more time with data than with patients, and it became harder to remember that illness infected a family and a community as well as your patient in the bed. The white coat ceremony is designed to remind you, your faculty, and everyone who loves you that fundamentally medicine is a human interaction. This will be a journey for you that is filled every day, literally every day, with challenges, impossible ethical dilemmas, and wonderful victories that should be celebrated. And as you become doctors, we offer you reassurance that the establishment of that human connection matters. Being kind matters. Being compassionate matters. Being experts in the science of medicine matters. When the world seems to want something entirely different of us, to be scribes or accountants, to speak the language of business instead of the language of health, to be tireless in our efficiency rather than tireless in our humanity, you can turn to us and find an ally in support of simply caring. So today's white coat ceremony is designed to emphasize the importance of that connection right from the beginning of your training. Now, when I started medical school at NYU in 1970, there was no white coat ceremony. Instead, I received this ugly scrap of multi-copied paper stuck in my mailbox unceremoniously, and it told me to report to an obscure room in the famous old Bellevue Hospital in New York City to pick up my white coat, and in those days, my white pants as well. We students, like good humor men and women, delivering ice cream in the neighborhood. On a very hot August day that year, at the appointed time, I walked through a maze of drab green corridors in the old Bellevue and came to a coat room. There's only one person there. an old seamstress. Sitting at her sewing machine, she looked up over her glasses and said, "Hi, Doc. Here for your coat?" She quickly assessed my size and shape, grabbed a starched coat and a pair of pants off a pile, and asked me to try them on. And when her work was perfect in selecting that uniform, she said, "Doc, you're going to see some things, Doc." The coat fit, of course. I was probably the 10,000th student she had sized up. We talked a bit. With the anxiety I felt, of course, wanting to talk. And then, to usher me out because she was busier than I, she said, "Listen, you take care of our patients now, Doc. You do a good job, okay? You tell me that." So I promised her I would, and I left. And that was my ceremony. And as you see, I haven't forgotten a word of it. You, of course, have a very different ceremony today. And it's a very different time in medicine than it was in 1970. We've watched incredible developments in these last 100-odd years, which we celebrate regularly. The CT scan and the MRI gave us superpowers. Heart attacks are stopped before they do damage. The risk of dying from cancer and the pain and suffering from treating it have been improved dramatically. Doctors and our colleagues in public health doubled the life expectancy in the last century. That is simply a remarkable thing. But as I suggested earlier, it's also a very challenging time, and it will be so for you. Dr. Victor Montori of the Mayo Clinic, a Gold Foundation investigator, founded an organization called the Patient Revolution and wrote a book called Why We Revolt. And in there he says, "I see that healthcare has corrupted its mission. It has stopped caring, and I am not going along with it. It is time to bring about the careful, scientific, kind patient care for all." In the months and years ahead, you're going to wind up memorizing more data about illness than you've learned about life in this time. You're going to learn the signs and symptoms of hundreds of diseases, how to tell a common cold from pneumonia, how to diagnose a broken bone, how to do an ultrasound. Diseases will become enemies, instantly familiar to you. And that mass of data, all of that memorization, through all of those challenges, will make it easy to forget, to try and make the human connection in every encounter with a patient and their family. You must remember to ask simple questions. Who are your patients? What do they care about? What matters to them? What is their story? One of our Gold Foundation honorees, Dr. Rena Audish, wrote a book about this dangerous lapse in connection in modern times called In Shock. It's an exquisite book, a moving book. I urge all of you to read it when you can. Rena is an ICU doctor at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. And unexpectedly, in the 7th month of her pregnancy, she became acutely ill with a diagnosis no one could make. She lost her baby, and she came close to losing her life. And she saw some things about being a patient in our modern, efficient, specialized environment that frightened her. She wrote, "We aren't trained to see our patients. We are trained to see disease. We are trained to see pathology. We are taught to forage with scalpels and forceps for an elusive diagnosis buried within obfuscating tissues. We excavate alongside our mentors in delicate, deliberate ways, test by test, attempting to unearth disease. The true relationship is forged between the doctor and the illness. And when it returns, its reappearances evoke devastating losses. past insults when those illnesses prevailed and we failed. The patients carrying the diagnosis are at risk of becoming an accessory to the whole affair, just another vector. And your generation can't let this continue. And this is your biggest challenge, therefore, to remember to make that connection in every moment. The fields you may enter, the things that you may be involved in doing may be nothing of what you have imagined thus far. But they will be thrilling, the ride will be thrilling, and we call on you, as my colleagues here from SGU, to do the right thing. Lastly, I have to say that connecting with your patients won't just help them. It will help you. About half of doctors these days report feeling symptoms of burnout. And what studies have found over and over again is that connecting with patients and colleagues helps prevent burnout. Doctors who are open to seeing their patients, bonding with them, hearing their concerns, laughing with them, or as Arnold Gold did, getting on the floor and playing with his pediatric patients to learn who they are and what they could do. Truly connecting on a human level have much lower rates of burnout and are therefore capable of pulling the rest of us along. And as you've heard, as you've known and seen in these past couple weeks, here at St. George's you have a special advantage already. You have a class of incredible diversity. Your classmates and your new friends hail from all over the globe, and being radically different backgrounds and experiences, they come to this special place and you can learn so much from them. And it is an extraordinary gift because it will allow you, as you connect and deepen your understanding of other cultures, other backgrounds, to be the best possible physician you can be. And to take that lesson and bring it to your patients. Now, it sounds ridiculously simple, but in the pressure of time, appointments that systems have reduced to 7 minutes max, of electronic health records waiting to be filled out in what current residents call pajama time, unpaid for, at home, taking away from the precious hours of life, your lives, and changing how you interact with people who depend on you at home. Really connecting can be easy to forget, and you cannot let that happen. The fate of our field, the 2,500-year history of medicine in the West, depends on that capacity. Now, in a few minutes, you're going to don your first white coat, embraced by the faculty of this wonderful university. For some, this might be a moment you've dreamed about since you were playing dress-up. For many, this may be a moment that you wondered if you would ever achieve because of the special hardships or detours in life that you did not know would allow you to bring your experience to the success of this dream. When you leave here and start your residencies, you will have pledged yourself to a lifetime of service to humanity, and you'll each carve a wonderful and unique career. My seamstress at Bellevue swore me to a different oath than you will take today, simply to take care of our patients, Doc. By putting on the white coat today, you do the same, and you honor all of those in all the health professions who came before you. Your faculty and your families and I take delight in welcoming you to this wonderful profession, and I wish you the warmest congratulations and the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levin. St. George's University School of Medicine will now present you with the white coat, symbolizing your entry into the profession, indeed the tribe of medicine, and your commitment to uphold the duties and trust associated with medicine and medical training. So first, students, just please make sure that your coats are unbuttoned. That'll make it easier to put on. All right. To assist our keynote speaker and myself with coding you, I now invite several faculty to join us on the stage. Our coders today include, if they'll come up, Dr. Richard Olds, our university president, Dr. Dolan Noel, Associate Dean of Clinical Studies in Grenada, Dr. Sherry Singh, Senior Assistant Clinical Dean in the U.S., Dr. Gabrielle Walcott-Badeau, the Director of McIndoe College, Dr. Sawa, Associate Director of Curry College, and Dr. Theophanis Callias, Director of the Hippocrates College. In recognition of our international enrollment, the Grand Marshal, Dr. Jessica Lindor, will call each student by name and state their country of birth. Some students will be coded by a physician family member or loved one who will be announced when they code. So please hold, so basically, we'll read the names, the new white coat recipients come up, they put on the white coat, and then we'll all applause, and then they shuffle off stage left. But I do ask that you wait until the last poor individual gets their white coat on before we start leaving the stage and clapping. Thank you. And then, of course, please keep the aisles clear for the duration of the coding. Okay, so shall we begin?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to announce the white coat recipients. Lubis Rabkala Kunan from California. Yes, please. Johanna Marie Serret from Trinidad and Tobago. Sogal Banam from California will be coated by her uncle, Dr. Michael Abvami. Rachel Dick from New York. Jake Rienzo from New Jersey will be coated by his father, Dr. Peter Rienzo, SGU class of 1985. Emily Rienzo will be coated by her father, Dr. Francis Rienzo, SGU class of 1988. Preet Patel, Florida. Luis Kiri Leon, Florida. Nicola Vladisic, Ontario. Monte Mohana, Arkansas. Jeffrey Ta, Maryland. Benjamin Raha, New York. Seth Huprick, Ohio. Akashdeep Dohal, California. Guillermo Morales, Florida. Nikki Saad from California will be coated by Dr. Nasrin Sayad. Shannon Santos, Texas. Barely Abwe, Ontario. Muna Chisa, Engene, Texas. Huya Mogdadas, Ontario. Bashir Al-Sanuri, Michigan. Carlos Heros will be quoted by his parents, Dr. Roberta and Deborah Heros. Akhil Jayaprakash will be quoted by his father, Dr. Jayaprakash from Wisconsin. Joseph Shimosky, New Hampshire. Jessica Rabaza, Georgia. Samuel Cornwall, Ohio. Ryan Johnson from Florida will be quoted by Dr. Melanie Matson. Ushane Sata, California. Emily Farmer, Maryland. Taylor Jensen, Florida. Hamid Hashmat, Florida. Ali Daoud, Florida. Sunny Patel, Georgia. Parisa Troy, Texas. Sonia Ahmed, Missouri. Jayashri Karvelu, Georgia. Jacqueline Fedor, Pennsylvania. Janelle Gregory, Jamaica. Sage Ben David, California. Andrea Magina, Florida. Jacob Haffen, Florida. Denise Williams, New York. Jasmine Silva, Nevada. Elena Zambriska, Connecticut. Ava Kenfak, New Jersey. Aliana Godoy from Florida will be quoted by Dr. Jean Godoy. Rupa Mimira, Illinois. Braxton Altum, Ohio. Idaho, pardon me. Julio Ambris, Utah. Dallas Thompson, Idaho. Riley Ogden, Idaho. Vamsi Reddy Malu, Georgia. Naga Radimalu, Georgia. Bhuvan Garlapati, Michigan. Nina Singh, Virginia. Omid Haji Amiri, California. Maryland, Ontario. Nicholas Shaughnessy, Colorado. David Damian, California. Garrett Bochatinsky, New York. Gabriel Rodriguez, Florida. Jeremiah Chung, California. Nicholas Patterson, Florida. Vince Eastwood, New Jersey. Andy Rim, Florida. Navjeet Dhaliwal, California. Rhonda Lambert, Grenada. Ariel Frederick, Grenada. Amrita Pandey, Ohio. Rebecca Janse Forensberg, South Africa. Deborah Tickle, Arizona. Gloria Reese, Texas. Teresa Maria Canova will be quoted by Dr. Carlos Canova, Florida. Miguel Gomez, New York. Henrietta Okanoba, Florida, will be quoted by her husband, Dr. Peters Okanoba. Lazaro Bassart, Florida. Sean Schroeder, Idaho. Nicholas Nick Booth, Michigan. Shauna K. Nugent, Connecticut. Max Houghton, New York. Kaylee Kuhn from Virginia would be quoted by Dr. Karen Subert. Angel Rennie will be quoted by Dr. Marcia Rennie. Latoya Cadu, Grenada. Ryan Harb, California. Alexis Evangelista Munanti, New Jersey. Jennifer Cucalone, New Jersey. Nicole Santazo, New York. Candace Boyd, Texas. Monica Ward, California. Faith Powell, District of Columbia. Gillian Thomas, Grenada. Jaspreet Singh, Wisconsin. Adefalarin Adeyemi, Texas. Marianne Lopez, Florida. Madison Lopez from Texas will be quoted by her father, Dr. Rene Lopez. Jayla Phillips, Texas. Nadia Jashanihi, Florida. Mary Musa, Florida. Samantha Bongiorno, South Carolina. Anisha Prasad, New Jersey. Rabia Rehman, Texas. Sumaya Kodali, Wisconsin. Janali Shaw, New York. Ankita Jain, New York. Hallie Sinclair, Tennessee. Christopher Reed, New York. Priyanka Prakash from Pennsylvania will be quoted by Dr. Gopi Mukhalvili. Sean Ross Lazaro, California. Brandon Thomas, Tennessee. Shayla Balakani from Delaware will be quoted by Dr. Mehdi Balakani. Daniel Gallo, Florida. Daniel Shinta, Georgia. Giovanni Palella, Illinois. Keisha Batra from Michigan will be quoted by Dr. Narinda Batra. Shadina Law, Grenada. Sabrina Coxum, Maryland. Mario Lee, Ontario. Abanoob Shelby, New Jersey. Jennifer Faila, Congo. Joseph Sitar, Sudan. Andrew Locker, Kentucky. Matthew Castelli, New Jersey. Noel Moreno, California. Disha Bal, California. Malvika Ramchandani, Virginia. Priyanka Thakur, California. Mohammed Raza, Virginia. Brian Neff, New Jersey. Jimmy Shakalakel, Illinois. Derek Joseph, New Jersey. Omar Diab, California. James Gagley, Kansas. Sean DeBow, Oregon. Angelo Vidrero, New Jersey. Carol Nguyen, California. Rami Bashir, Florida. Christiana Jones, Massachusetts. Lorraine Sanchez Polino, Florida. Michael Mazzeo, New York. Rita Aziz, New Jersey. Aisha Ali, New York. Rohini Gupta, Illinois. Faith Danladi, Nigeria. Rainy Cabagnot, California. Simone Francis, Grenada. Fidelia Elahi, Grenada. Fortesa will be quoted by her father, Dr. Alejandro Forteso, Department of Neurology. Caitlin Egley, Ontario. Stephanie Levin, Ontario. Shin Yang, Korea. Bobby Damani, Illinois. Niharika Mupa, California. Chinelo Okonkwo, North Carolina. Steve Chang, California. Jacob Fujioka, California. Iman Chowdhury, New Jersey. Simran Aluwalia, Alberta. Aram Khan, Connecticut. Jafar Zaidi, California. Julia Wade from Pennsylvania will be quoted by Dr. Ahmed Wade and Dr. Muna Al-Agha. Kristen Manilal, Pennsylvania. Gail Parion, Dominica. Wasim Nahad, California. Yusuf Malik, California. Jordan Grant, British Virgin Islands. Nala Taher, New York. Jennifer Clark, Colorado. Nayeon Kim, Missouri. Jaden Park, Georgia. Jesse Dingle, California. Jane DeVos, South Africa. James O'Toole, Connecticut. Taylor Oswald, Michigan. Abdullah Sultani, Ontario. Luke Stair, Tennessee. Xuan Tian Wen, Quebec. Mahaki Aser, Nevada. Kevin Nabong, Arizona. Igor Kavila, Ontario. Sharia Amere, Ontario. Anissa Khan, Texas. Pragnesh Patel, Nevada. Maria Vashchenko, California. Jessica Chasan, New York. Shivana Rampasad, Trinidad and Tobago. Shania Prasad, Trinidad and Tobago. Soraya Mohammed, Trinidad and Tobago. Margaret Munatsi, South Africa. Daphne Petium, Florida. Vishal Bomineni, Florida. Maristania Sentine, New York. Gabrielle Williams, Florida. Albina Attila, New Jersey. Nathan Johnson, Grenada. Madhusudan Busal from Texas. Gabriel Bonduransky from New York. Michael Cosley, Florida. Gopal Sandhu, Illinois. Jamie Susna, New York. Saba Sami, Ontario. John Khan, New York. Kaveh Mutafari Loristani, Ontario. Anas Aboud Zaid, Ontario. Krifal Gillot, New York. Melinda Wiggins, California. Daniel Sanchez, Hawaii. Mary Vargas, California. Ariana Rainberg Palmer, Florida. Maria Rainberg Palmer, Florida. Brian Schweitzer would be quoted by Dr. Stephen Schweitzer from New York. Ivan Piedad, Florida. Wafa Mansour, Michigan. Ward Al-Sarfandi, New York. Yusef Kosho, Michigan. Yusef Shaboon, New Jersey. Ali Al-Rida Baghdadi, Lebanon. Ghazal Abu Salim, Palestine. Noel Jundi, California. Mara Nassar, Michigan. Sergio Hernandez Rodriguez, California. Stephanie Chen, New Jersey. Timothy Colwyn would be quoted by his mother and father, Doctors Mary Joanne Marin Colwyn and Andrew Colwyn. Brigitte DeBass, Pennsylvania. Sing-Wang Yun, California. Ray Mayes-Queta, Wisconsin. Tanya Nyankazi, California. Vioma Patel, California. Jonathan Phillip, Trinidad and Tobago. Blossom DeGale, Grenada. Shadina Mitchell, Antigua and Barbuda. Nalexis Brown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Gael Thomas, Dominica. Tishon Ross, Trinidad and Tobago. Marcos Ramirez, California. Korapach Dinarax, Thailand. Oluwatosin Taiwo, Nigeria. Raquel Crowley Sirrugs, Texas. Renelda Batch, Georgia. Mira Fayez, Egypt. Brian Calero, Peru. Daniela Maya, Colombia. Taylor Perdomo, New York. Sitara Wahid, New York. Hassana Tate, New York. Stephanie Maloku, Maryland. Toya Mayday, Grenada. Jade St. Paul, Grenada.
I have to say, you all look amazing. Really, seriously. It makes me sad I'm not going to be here for the next 4 years. But you're always invited to Los Angeles or South Sudan, so just come look me up. This next part, at this time I'd like to invite the students as well as all the physicians in the room to stand and recite aloud with me the professional commitment listed in your program. What's that? All the parents who are up here, the physicians, and the faculty, would be wonderful for you to stand as well. This commitment was actually written by a student task force in 1995 and has been recited at each of our School of Medicine white coat ceremonies. One of my favorite quotes is, "Keep your years, give me my moments." This is your moment. Today is the beginning of my medical education and training as a physician. I acknowledge my responsibility to continue the pursuit of knowledge and understanding until that day when I will cease to be a practicing physician. I am entering training for a noble profession in which my interests must always be subservient to those who may seek my assistance. I must ever be conscious of the value of my fellow health professionals and treat them with respect at all times. My classmates at St. George's University are now my colleagues, and I owe to them the same support and encouragement to achieve their goals as I hope to receive from them. I will work alongside my colleagues and professors with tolerance, compassion, and honesty. I acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the University Honor Code and to conduct myself with integrity and in an ethical manner at all times henceforth. I shall do all within my power to show in myself an example of all that is honorable and good throughout my medical career. It is my privilege to have been given the opportunity Thank you. Please be seated. Wow. On behalf of SGU, I'd like to thank the Arnold Gold Foundation for the Humanism in Medicine pins that you're wearing on your white coats. And thank you so much, students, for taking this journey with us, for the families for getting them here and to this point, and your support, to our faculty and the staff and administrators for your support and presence in this ceremony. And finally, let's give our future physicians a big round of applause. I don't know, maybe you don't need the future modifier, right? If you just embrace yourself as a physician today, we'll get the rest of it done for you as far as the knowledge. So congratulations. You're all invited to celebrate with us at a reception just up the hill at the Lou and Marion Modica Hall. And I just ask that you please remain seated for the guests and keep the aisles clear until our students have actually exited as directed by the ushers. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to St. George's. God bless you.